Aamod, over the last 20 odd years, you have hired, managed, led data science teams in some of the greatest data science companies in the world. I'd love to understand what makes a data scientist successful.
Yeah. Yes. So I think I was just making the rough mental calculation in my head. Probably about 300 to 350 people, I think is my rough guess that I was instrumental in hiring myself. So I love that. Um, I think what makes a data scientist successful is also changed quite a bit over the years, I would say, right? I mean, um, the ingredients for success, typically we all knew what how it was in the past, right? It was more the statistical ability, the ability to program in Python and so on. And that is still true to a large extent. I would say in the past, one of the abilities I would test for is the ability of a data scientist to work closely with product, because that was the key ingredient. Can you really understand how your product manager is thinking? Can you really understand what direction product is going? Because then you can bring the insights from data and not just data dumps that really drive the product outcomes. That was sort of the big measure, and it's still true in many aspects. The one thing that has changed in mind in the AI era is now the data scientist needs to be very much in tune with the engineers, and that's where a lot of the magic is happening. Because data does a few things. It brings insights, it brings models, it brings ability to create things that don't exist, right? Like I have some great product idea, and a data scientist will first look at it from a modeling perspective and figure out whether it's even possible and so on. But then they need to work very closely with engineers, because that's where the domain of research goes into the rubber hits the road, and now we are putting it out in the world. And so I think just at a high level, that ability is new now for a lot of data scientists to work very closely with engineers, and how engineers are thinking, what are some of the optimizations we need to put in the product, how does that impact some of the model design choices that we have made. Things like that are becoming way more important than they were in the past, right? So that's something that I've seen over the last, let's say, year or 2 years or so.
And we can call this as the industrialization of AI or industrialization of analytics and data science. So back 20 years ago, datasets were small, mostly less than 1 million rows, most often.
Right.
Data was structured that can fit into an Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
And the techniques that we were using were basically classical statistical learning techniques like logistic regression,
That's right.
maybe decision trees, and so on. And now everything has changed.
That's right.
Data is much bigger, much larger data sets. We have unstructured data, so it doesn't fit into an Excel spreadsheet. We have these models working at scale at a different order of magnitude altogether. So it has brought in this industrialization, which means that AI and engineering have become inextricably linked. And that's the reason you're suggesting that data scientists have to have a better relationship with the engineers.